Hey guys, how you doing? I'm doing okay. Originally when I started this part of Schumer's speech, I was more or less thinking along the lines originally of that all it takes is one unstable individual to turn Schumer's words into a horrific tragedy. And one mother and her two daughters would be without the bedrock of their family. And as I was putting all this together in the last video, I then started to think about how this all parallels domestic battery and domestic violence, mostly from men to women. But in my case personally, it happened from woman to man. So my ex-wife um, was um, suffered from bipolar disorder, and I didn't learn until after the wedding day that she has gone without taking her medication. So she was unstable while she was off the medication, and the domestic violence, not necessarily always physical. There's all kinds of violence I learned. There's physical violence, mental violence, financial violence, emotional violence, verbal violence, psychological violence, manipulative violence. Violence takes all kinds of forms. And so, but violence, domestic violence starts with non-physical, and then it progresses towards physical. Okay, so because it has to have a channel to vent that violence, and it starts with verbal attacks, and it starts and the verbal attacks are include shaming, intimidation, isolation, um, psychological, and it's like, oh, I don't like it when you talk to your family. I don't like it when you talk to your friends. And then isolation sets in. So I started thinking about the parallel between political violence here that I will show you and actual domestic violence in a private relationship. So, in that sense, we will look, or I will show you and share with you what I see as the parallel between of domestic violence. Okay, this is the part of domestic violence that includes intimidation. That is part of a battered girlfriend, battered wife, and battered husband. Okay, is intimidation. So here we start with intimidation.
I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price. You won't know what hit you.
Okay, intimidation.
What's happening in America? Civility out, shaming and shunning in. On the same weekend, White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders is asked to leave a restaurant. Democratic Congresswoman Maxine Waters says don't let the public shaming stop with Sanders.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them.
You push back on them. That's physical violence.
You tell them they're not welcome.
You're not welcome. Intimidation, verbal violence.
Anymore, anywhere.
Anymore, anywhere. Hey, that's like, that's verbal violence to me.
Congresswoman pushing more division in a nation already seemingly divided. Protesters yelling shame at DHS Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen at a Mexican restaurant.
Shame. Shame. That's part of domestic violence. Making your victim feel shame. Like he or she is garbage. That you should be ashamed of yourself. And so that person feels terrible. But the attacks don't end there. The domestic violence doesn't end there. Because now it's progressing. It's a volcano ready to erupt. Okay. Now you've threatened. Now you've intimidated. Now you inflict shame on your victim. What's next?
ASU police say that they're looking into this disturbing video posted by a student group last night. A man screaming at the ASU Students for Trump organization.
It's left a lot of people wondering how safe they are and whether this person could have posed a threat. Team 12's William Pitts talked to the student who shot that video about the scary encounter.
ASU police say they are investigating a video making the rounds on social media showing a man yelling at a group of Trump supporters about slashing Republicans' throats.
Student groups set up here all the time. Voter registration, say no to animal testing, and political groups like Students for Trump.
We were just tabling like every other Wednesday, and this man that you see in a video, he comes up to us out of nowhere, no words spoken, nothing exchanged with him.
Osama Alani was manning the table. He's the president of the group. He says no one in the group knows who this is, but he was angry, and not just yelling, screaming.
Say that one more time. It is a scary incident. We were somewhat protective of like something may happen.
Alani says